Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Ultimate Apocalypse casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 versus 1 on Blood River. Over in the Inquisitorial Demon Hunters corner, we've got Keuken, whereas on the other side of the map, playing as the Orks, we have got Stranger. Stranger's going to be going for double sluggers, grot squad, and a... what were you? And a boys hut when he decides where he's going to place it. Whereas the Demon Hunters are going to go for a fistful of Stormtroopers, a Librarium, and a Plasma Generator. Demon Hunters, I was playing around with the boys on Ultimate Apocalypse. I think it was last weekend. Now, we had a game with these guys that went on for a bajillion million years, but a very interesting little faction these guys are. It's almost like you're playing two factions at the same time. In the early game, in Tier 1s and Tier 1.5, you're playing with a lot of Stormtroopers and all that jazz. And slowly but surely, you kind of transition away into Grey Knights and bigger things. Orcs are going to go for some shooter boys. They're all general, usual gubbins, capturing their nearest and dearest and whatnot. Stormtroopers for the Demon Hunters are doing more or less the same. Librarium is the Demon Hunters research building, so I assume that they're going to go for more focused upgrading their Stormtroopers and whatnot earlier on in the game. Got some bodyguards as well, just for good measure. Quite decent at range and melee. I suppose the main difference between these Stormtroopers and your regular human Imperial Guardsmen is that they've got a little bit less in the way of heavy weapons that they can go for, but their rate of fire is quite decent, to be fair. Once they can get some firing off, if these slugger boys will let them. But these slugger boys do want to say hello with their axes, I'm sure. But yeah, look at that, it's like a disco, it's like a rave. But yeah, slugger boys versus two Stormtroopers will not have a happy Christmas. Bodyguards moving into the base, trying to pester these grots. And just like their Stormtrooper counterparts, their firing rate is quite impressive. And not bad looking models neither. Little guys with hoods, little posh emblems on their backpacks. Will be caught between a rock and a hard place in the form of this big mech and a just one single squad of shooter boys and some sluggers. Stormtroopers looks like they're going to be wiped out unless they can get away, managing to narrowly survive. Bodyguards, while they're a relatively elite kind of unit, in fact they're actually a commander unit, not the most high health of units, I do have to say. I mean, 5 bodyguards with 2,750 health compared to 5 shooter boys with 3,100 health. Now their reinforcement rate, it's 95 blue money and 15 green money. They're a very serious investment. So they've got to make sure that they're supported in some way, shape or form so they can use their impressive range DPS to full effect. Can't let these boys get caught out of combat. Anyway, Big Mech having a look, see what he can see. Do have a schematic for Exorcists. And that is... there we go. Gonna summon an Exorcist, which is the healing unit for the Inquisitorial Demon Hunters. I imagine they will be attached to these bodyguards and keeping them fighting fit and healthy. You have a good chunk of listening person war banners. Shooter boys will be coming around, say what they can see. Icon of purification going on down here.
Let me preach his name.
I imagine that the Big Mech will be wanting to take this down as quickly as possible. There we go, he's going to jump in. Archivist, a uniquely weak builder unit from what I understand. If I'm not mistaken, they're very vulnerable to any form of damage, more so than most other builder units in the game. So very easy to harass the Demon Hunters by doing such actions. Exorcist choosing to heal for the Emperor by not healing. Look at him go with his chain sword. Although not as tanky as the priest of an Imperial Guard, will be shorn off very quickly. Stormtroopers trying to get a flanking maneuver. Big Mech holding the line on his own. Icon of Purification did go down, but will be replaced. That floating line is quite distracting. Inquisition now armed with plasma pistols on their sergeants. But this is a lot of shooter boys. I mean, 21 in total. Slugger boys also moving in. Yeah, the Demon Hunters will have to fall back as the Shooter boys are hiding around in the heavy cover.
Ready for duty.
Icon of Purification looks like it won't be finished by the time that this archivist gets done. But Stormtroopers are not done yet. They've still got a little bit of fighting power left in them. Bodyguards, that's 8 in total there. And the archivist has been left to their own devices, left to finish the Icon of Purification. And if they can get that upgraded, that'll be really useful in holding this little corner of the map. Big Mech tying up some... But he's having a go trying to tie up these bodyguards. Going toe-to-toe with this priest, giving the elbow in the face. Stormtroopers holding in the middle. Shooter boys falling back so they can get some distance between themselves and these bodyguards. Yes, Icon of Purification is going to go for a pentagram shielding. This one over here has also gone for the same. So this will be quite difficult for the Orks to assault in their current state. I had a grenade coming from somewhere. Oh, from the shooter boys. That makes sense. Breaking the morale of these Stormtroopers down here. Big Mech, been left on his own devices with these Slugger boys, will teleport away from the negative cover. They will turn their attentions to this Icon of Purification. But I mean, only really is the Big Mech suited for bashing buildings at this point in time. Will fall back as these Stormtroopers and bodyguards move forward. Tier 2 also being popped. 240 compared to 144 and 50. Almost in Tier 2 for the Orks there. But yeah, it's back and forth around this Icon of Purification. What are we going for here? We're going to go for an Inquisition Watch and a Rhino Transport. This is kind of like a wombo combo of an infantry building plus a vehicle recruitment building. Also got that Astra Telepathica. So we'll expect to see some Grey Knights on the way fairly shortly. Especially with that very impressive economy. What was it? It was 200 blue money at the moment. You see a burner bomb being popped down by the Big Mech, killing a significant amount of bodyguards and Stormtroopers alike. They will fall back. Icon of Purification, they're holding the line. One singular Slugger boy doing what he can. But yeah, we will see these urban territories going up and up. That is to increase their squad pop and whatnot. But you can also use it to increase your economy as well, which is nice. Got some Storm Boys moving in. A little bit of harassment. That's what I like. If you can't take a point away from an enemy because he's defending it too well, then just move in a different direction. Split his attention. Rhino Transport coming out, upgraded with a missile launcher. It's some good harassment on these guys, but morale has been broken. Time for them to run back home. But that's not what they were there for, because while that's going on, they have managed to be able to take down this Icon of Purification. Shooter boys with their knobs that have been equipped with power claws. Power claws able to mash their way through buildings and heavy infantry alike. We've got some Grey Knights on the field over here. Grey Knight strike team. Good at long range. Good at overall general stuff, but then again, up against 21 shooter boys with 4 big shooters in tow for all of them. Reduce their health down to quite a considerable amount of size. They're very tanky, very impressive units, but going solo against so much, not going to shut this. Well, they're not going to survive very long. Well, again, being able to reinforce. Stormboys now turning their attention to the Stormtroopers, allowing them to reinforce. Stormboys going to jump over the Rhinos and Razorbacks and do some bits and bobs, but they seem to have been exploded by something. Shooterboys teleporting away. Their own individual teleporter stuff. Got some commandos now moving in as well. Just to add insult to injury. Jumping in, giving everyone the boomy bits. But yeah, it's hard to tell who's coming out on top in this engagement at the moment. You've got 10 stormtroopers over here just constantly firing away in the heavy cover. This Razorback flaming anything and everything. Going to go into the base and harass things going on in there. Got double. I mean, what are you? You are Grey Knight Strike Team and another Grey Knight Strike Team. So yeah, that's a lot of Grey Knights. Every grey cloud has a silver lining, and it is indeed these boys. Commanders, very useful in the general scheme of things. You wouldn't normally see them being used in such a forceful central manner. They are doing their bit. Shooter boys recuperating themselves, throwing another grenade. More shooter boys on the way as well, reinforced with their big shooters. But Stranger is having to commit a lot of blue money into reinforcing all these lads. And up against Grey Knights, these guys with their furious charge. They're happy in melee, they're happy at ranged. Hard to counter these boys at this stage of the game. I imagine some knobs will be able to show them the exit door. I mean, what's he going to go for? He's going to go for a mech lab. I always read that as meth lab. I mean, I suppose that if you give Orks meth, that would probably increase their overall combat power. Show my history knowledge, but I remember being told that in World War II, during the initial start of the war when Germany went into France, was it not that the German tank drivers were given loads like meth chocolate to keep them awake and fighting fit? So yeah, meth Orks, I think that would be the way forward. Anyway, back to Warhammer 40k. The commanders, along with their shooter boys and tank buster comrades, are managing to hold these guys back. And while that's going on as well, Storm Boys over on the other side of the map, doing what they can, but it does look like they've been oh no, that's not Storm Boys, that's Khorne Knight Berserkers, never mind me. Lots of mines going off on here. Doing a significant amount of damage, but the Grey Knights just kind of just walk over it. Which is quite cool. Shooter Boys now on the offensive. Commanders equipped with their big mech. So yeah, it seems that they're about to trade a relic for a relic. Storm Boys with their knob armed with a power claw. Attacking them from the backside. And now the Grey Knights are going to turn their attention to these Storm Boys. And I do believe that they will come out less favourable in that engagement. Over on this side, they're trying to cross the river. I've got commanders, 5 Scorchers in there. Do love these Scorcher weapons as well. Tasty little weapons over there. And if they could break the morale of certain units, while also doing a significant amount of damage to buildings as well, they're just going to jump in and do loads of econ damage, keeping these Grey Knights away from pushing in any further. Going to provide Stranger a little bit of extra time to recuperate and build up his forces. 149 and 40 compared to 195 and 82. A lot of econ going on for the Inquisitorial Demon Hunters. They go for worker recruitment too in the urban territory. Yeah, these burners, good amount of health. Hard to beat these guys off when they're, well, sorry, phrasing there, not beat them off. You never beat a commando off. Rule number 1 of commandos. But yeah, because of their health, haha, quite hard to push them out the base, shall we say. But, I mean, they will do it. They have got a significant amount of Grey Knights. Also a Inquisitor Lord with his bodyguards in the field. Double Storm Boys. Shooters over here as well, engaging with the Grey Knights. Yeah, so I imagine the play for the Orks at the moment is while they're on the economic back foot, they've got to keep the Grey Knights on their toes. Got to keep them inside their base with constant harassment. And if you can do that, you can prevent them from pushing into your base and using their actual armies to go in for the killing blow. Go of a Purgaton... Purgation? Purgaton? I'm going to go Purgation. Hellfire Dreadnought. Using its huge cannon and whatnot to good effect. Lots of fire there. I'm sure these Grey Knights do not appreciate the heat being turned up to such degrees. Purgaton Hellfire Dreadnought being zapped and will slowly be exploded by those tank busters. Stormtroopers over here are also going to feel the brunt. While that's going on, we do have another Purgation Hellfire Dreadnought opening fire on these shooter boys. Boys not having much in the way of survivability here. Well, it says that it's actually holding up quite well. So what am I talking about, eh? But the Orks don't mind this. They're happy for the Demon Hunters to go for their boys' hut, as there's lots of delicious plasma generators for them to assault. Also many urban territories, and this is a tier 3 one as well, so lots of 100 blue money and 220 green money been invested in that. So if you can knock down these urban territories, that's a lot of investment being taken out there. Gonna go for some more Purgation Hellfire Dreadnoughts. But yeah, these commandos did what they can. Can't quite take out this skyscraper going on over here. Storm Boys assaulting. Who are you? You are the bodyguards. The bodyguards are being taken care of by a whole smattering of Storm Boys. Purgation Hellfire Dreadnought breaking the morale of these time busters, but will not want to stay for much longer, as the bodyguards have been wiped out over there. Time busters trying to hit this Purgation Hellfire Dreadnought, but their accuracy is not amazing, especially when on the move. What are we going to go for? We're going to go for tier 3 from the Order Malleus Tower. 223 and 148 compared to 128 and 39. Gonna go for a whole bunch of upgrades at the moment, but not amazing economy at the moment, I do have to say. I mean, a good amount of flirt there. I mean, normally you would say that flirt in a game of Dawn of War is not amazing. You don't want to see flirt, but when you think about it, a lot of late game units require a lot of flirt before you're able to even invest or buy it, so sometimes flirt is not a bad thing, and considering that it's got a good amount of fighting people on the field at the moment, I'd say it's doing alright. But Time Busters being chased away by these Grey Knight strike teams. Got some commandos up some sneaky shenanigans by the looks of things, but won't be able to get up to stuff like that, as there is a big major assault going into the Ork base at the moment. Grey Knights engaging with Storm Boys. Purgation Hellfire Dreadnoughts engaging with the buildings over yonder. One will go down there. And yeah, this is... I was about to say it looks like a bit of an endgame for the Orks, but it does seem that they might be able to even push this back. Storm Boys with their Power Clawed Knob, cutting through their armour. Burner Boys over here, well, not Burner Boys, but Commando Boys with burners, breaking the morale of anyone and everyone. Tank Busters denying any form of vehicular support. This isn't actually too bad, and they've actually turned the tides quite considerably. Commando's now just going to jump straight in. Going to skip the main meal and go straight for dessert. Having their morale broken more or less straight away. And we'll have double Grey Knights being teleported in. Burner Boy over here, kind of enjoying himself, having a little bit of a dance. But yeah, from the perspective of the Order Malleus, I mean, what are they going to go for? They're going to go for an Aegis of Atonements, which does stuff, I am sure, going and upgrading a lot of their urban territory. but need something a little bit... Well, they need some fighting people on the field, really. These Grey Knights are doing what they can. They are holding the line quite considerably. Ah, there we go, some Grey Knight Pegasus. Long range units. So while they've got their strike teams going into melee, they can be supported by these dudes. And that will certainly create a staunch defensive force. Well, then again, flash kits now. Flash kits with a knob leader. Knob leader being out of power core, not. So while these guys are having fun at range, he's just gonna wave at them, I guess. Stormboy's going for a flanking maneuver, looking at all these archivists with all their books and learning smarts. These guys now going to jump straight over the sides. They'll try and tie up the bodyguards and whatnot. And yeah, it seems like that from the impressive strike from the Demon Hunters earlier on, the Orks are now returning the favour in kind. More Pegasus being summoned, firing their shooting stars. Strike teams trying to keep these flash kits occupied. Urban territories being taken down. And it's absolute chaos and bedlam. It does seem like the Grey Knights have managed to not necessarily push these guys back, but just force them to redeploy over here, allowing these Pegasus to focus fire on the commandos over yonder. We have two towers over here. Gonna go down. Very unfortunate by the looks of things. There's lots of very, very inappropriate jokes that I can make about this, which I'm not going to. Something about burner boy fuel melting steel beams or something, but I'm not going to mention any of those jokes. It would be inappropriate. But lots of flash kits over here, annihilating everything in their path. We do have a burner bomb, exploding anything and everything. Although these Pegasus don't seem to mind it all that much, to be fair. Taking that explosion on the chin. But yeah, I do have to say, it did seem like quite a close game earlier on. Especially with this engagement going on, like we say, over there. But last time that the Demon Hunters did push into the Ork base, it could have gone either way, that engagement. But it does seem that the Orks are going to claim victory for this day. So yeah, that was a very exciting match, I do have to say. Yeah, if you want to support the old channel, Patreon is a place where if you pay £1 a month, you do get one extra Dawn of War game a week and all that jazz. My name's been Mr. Landshark, pleasure as always, never chore, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace!